Thank you, Nicole, so much. It is Meal Prep Monday. Miss Seanna is here. I always love filling in on these days because, one, I get to see you, but also I get to be snacking, and it's two of my favorite things, seeing Seanna and having snacks.
Yeah, it's a good way to start the day, that's for sure. And
you got a great feels that way.
Protein is kind of the word of this segment, isn't it, really? Like getting that protein, getting those bellies full for longer rather than constantly feeling like you need to graze or eat, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was challenged this week to find nut-free, school-safe, high-protein snacks.
Yeah.
And then Lisa also, on top of the challenge, added in no bars and no energy bites, please. Because we all have those recipes, right? And
that's
when you're
true.
thinking
You can only eat so many.
Right. And a lot of times you just make whatever bar or energy bite recipe you usually make and just add in protein powder, which I think is a bit of a cheat.
It's a bit of a cheat. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I came up with two brand new recipes this week that I think you guys are going to really,
They look
really
so...
Where are we starting, here or there?
We're going to start right here.
Chocolate.
So, yeah, this is my brownie batter high protein dip. So you see a lot of those cookie dough dips that are made with lots of peanut butter and things like that. But to keep this school safe, we started with a can of white kidney beans.
Oh, so these are kidney beans. Okay, right. Yeah,
so as much as you might think it tastes kind of like a hummus or like a dip like that, honestly, it really does taste like brownie batter because what I did was I combined a whole bunch of different things that I know have high protein. And when you put them all together, they make this almost chewy, battery consistency. So the white beans, obviously, high in protein, high in fiber. Hemp hearts, as you have heard me talk about before, some of my favorite things. So I have in here 6 tablespoons of hemp hearts, which is 20 grams of protein just right there.
That's wild.
Okay.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
And my other secret ingredient is skim milk powder. So if, like, I really don't like giving kids protein powder or relying on those
because it's hard to know exactly what's in them, and depending on your age, you don't start those things until you get over 18.
Exactly. I like to keep it until they're a little bit older. But skim milk powder, if you don't have a dairy intolerance, this is 9 grams of protein per quarter cup. So you can add that in sort of as a cheater protein powder in lots of recipes. So try this. And the other thing I added in here, and Nick, you were asking about this because it looks like sort of a two-toned package here. This is creamed coconut, not coconut milk, but this comes in a package like this, comes in a little box, and it's the flesh of the coconut just creamed. And what it does is make a really creamy consistency. So instead of peanut butter or a tahini, if you're using that, you can use this instead, and it makes it so nice and creamy. It adds a little healthy fat in there. Isn't that good?
Really good.
Yeah, and we're adding in cocoa powder, which also contains 1 gram of protein per...
I would not taste that and think, boy, that's beans.
Right?
And how much does it make? How much is it?
So, yes, this recipe makes about 2 cups, and there's over 70 grams of protein in there.
What is it costing me? Because I mean, we're all balling on a budget.
Yeah, absolutely. So this 2 cups of batter, all of the ingredients included, only costs about $5.30 to make.
Wow.
So each serving is about 65 cents.
Almost.
Almost. You're almost there. That, and you can throw that into a lunchbox with some fruit, with some pretzels, and they're going to get that protein, especially if they're active. You want them to have protein throughout the day. Right?
I'm looking at these because it's giving almost like a Valentine's Day.
I know.
The fact that they look
that too.
Delicious.
Yeah. So these are my high protein buckwheat muffins. So I know they look like cupcakes, but what I did here is I used buckwheat flour, which has a little bit of a higher protein content than regular flour. Again, skim milk powder, that cheater that I use, Greek yogurt. You know, I have to use Greek yogurt, right? Super high in protein.
Cheers.
And then to add, so each of these muffins has about 5 grams of protein in it, but to add an extra 2, so it brings it up to, like you said, 6 to 7 grams of protein. I used cottage cheese and I mixed it with white chocolate to stabilize it a little bit.
I said earlier before we came on, I'm not a cottage cheese fan.
But isn't that good?
But it tastes, you couldn't tell me there was cottage cheese in there. And I love things that are filling like this that kids can have as a snack. And what is it going to cost? So this recipe actually makes about 18 to 20 full-size muffins. And the whole thing's only going to cost you about $4.50. So 22 cents a muffin.
And these are the same, you just made smaller?
Yeah, I just made little mini ones. So it makes about 40, 45 mini ones. And each of those have about 1 to 2 grams of protein, and then each muffin has about 5 grams of protein in there.
Wow, that's really delicious.
Isn't
and
that
like
good?
Healthy, and you you fool people almost, Shauna, every single week.
Thank you. Yeah, that's my goal, is to fool everybody into eating a little bit healthier.
Where do we find it all?
You're going to find all of these on my Instagram and my Facebook, Seanna Thomas Nutrition. I will have the recipes there this week for you, so you can bump up your protein, your kids' protein with these delicious snacks.
Bumped.
Yes.
Okay.
Cheers.